Right. Every choir director in their tenure has had to deal with choir turnover, whether it was the actual members or the musicians. In this video, we will discuss some tips that you could possibly implement that help me and other directors deal with that phenomenon. Yes, that's how we see it, but really it's common to all of us. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is your girl, Angela Elaine, and yes, we will be discussing that topic, but I need you to do something for me right now. Hit that subscribe button and that bell so that you will know every time we do a video, and knowing that I'm getting ready to give you something good, right? So hit that subscribe button and that bell. Share this video with your other choir directors, friends that may be struggling with this topic, because we all had to deal with it and it's very heartbreaking. Listen, when you work with a choir of people, let me just backtrack a couple of seconds. When we get a choir, we inherit what someone else may have had, or we had to put one together ourselves. And in that, you grow attached to the people. Yes, you train them. You see them grow from a tone deaf person to now that they become one of your star singers. And life happens, but somehow when we're working with people, we forget that people, sometimes they change, they go to another department, or they move away, or they go to college, or they get another job, and it doesn't feel good. But there are some things that we need to keep in mind so that when these things happen, we understand that it's not strange or a phenomenon, but this is something that happens. Number one, don't take it personal. And that's very hard for us to do, not to take it personal, because generally that's how we feel. We get attached to somebody. We're over a group, and we have a group of singers that we have trained maybe from tone deaf until they became one of our star singers. And so when they leave to go to another department, go to college, get another job, or wherever they go, it's hard not to take that personal. Like, what did I do to you? Because that's the normal feeling that we have as humans. When somebody walks away, it's like, what did I do? What did I say? You start questioning yourself. But as a choir director, we got to remember that the choir members are on loan to us, right? And they may not necessarily stay with us. So we have to understand that things rotate. And it's not you. It's not that you did something. It's just that it was time for rotation to happen, right? We have to keep that in mind, because I remember when I started out, and it's like I inherited the choir from my mom, and some people stayed, and then maybe like 2 or 3 months later, some people left, like, well, I'm going to another department. Well, why? It's like, oh man. And all of us like to have a sizable choir. Honestly, that has nothing to do with your performance, your sound, but we just, you like numbers, right? Who wants to stand there and sing with 5 people? You're an ensemble or quintet. You want the 12, the 15, 20, and 30 choir members. Really, who doesn't want that? Especially if they all can sing, right? But we have to learn not to take things personal. Even when our choir members come and they may not be feeling the best, okay, you weren't with them, but yet somehow we take it personal. We have to learn that's a situation that happened outside of this particular venue, and see if I can diffuse it or else bring it down a few notches so that we can get the job done. Number 2, remember, everyone comes into our lives. I know we hear that slogan, but we have to apply that to a lot of the areas of our lives when we're dealing with a mass of people, right? I'm not talking about your family, like your immediate nucleus. I'm not talking about that. But when you're dealing like in the choir or a corporation, you're manager of a department, we all like for people to stay with us, especially when it's somebody you're diehard. We all got those choir members that just die hard. I don't care where I go. They always on time. They always know their parts. They're always in uniform. They just got me. I don't care if I need that high note hit to be hit. I can look at that person and they hit it flawlessly every time. We all have people like that. But then understand, you were that way to somebody else, right? And eventually, the seasons changed for whatever reason, you become leadership, and now you have a crew of people following you. Well, somebody in that group is training to be leadership. And we love those leadership people. I mean, I know all those people that, by me being a leader basically all my life, from started as a child. But a lot of my bosses and everybody, they hated to see me go, but it was my time to rotate out because God had something else for me to do. And that's something else that we need to consider. That people are with us for a season and for a reason. Now, you're going to have those that are great singers, dependable. They're going to stay with you. But sometimes we like to keep that nucleus so tight that we don't want anybody to leave, and not knowing that they may be leaving for a season, just going off, God sending them out to be trained, and then they come back and be more profitable. They may go out as your section leader, but then come back as your vice president or your assistant director. We don't know. So we have to kind of keep that thought. It's hard. I'm not going to say it's easy, but we have to keep that thought process in our hearts, make it part of our spirits, that people come for seasons and reasons. We don't like it, but we have to keep that inside. And that way, going back to number one, we won't take it personal when they leave. We'll know that this is part of God's plan. Sometimes they make a mistake and they leave and then they come back. Well, they come back. But this is one thing that I always suggest to anybody. This is just a sidebar. I don't care if you're a member, a musician, director. I don't care what your capacity is. Make sure you always leave in the right spirit and in the right way. There's a right way and there's a wrong way, and people don't realize that. They get angry and upset or they just leave and don't tell anybody anything. Don't do that. Always sit down with the person and let them know, I'm leaving. And we as leaders have to get past it, knowing that things happen and people make decisions to change. But on the flip side, those that may leave or whatever, make sure you sit down. Make sure you're leaving for the right reason. Make sure it's not the enemy talking in your ear and making you leave for no apparent reason. And then when you get out, you realize, oh man, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have left, right? So you don't want to do that, but make sure wherever you depart from, that you do it in the most ethical and professional manner so that you always have an open door. Don't burn all those bridges. Some bridges you need to burn, okay? If you hooked up with a narcissist and all that kind of crazy stuff, you need to burn that bitch. Look, I come help you torch it, all right? I get a match and the material to blow it up. But when it's in normal situations, you want to make sure that you leave in the proper way so that you always have some place to go. That was just a little side tip. Another reason why we have to have the right spirit when we're dealing with choir turnover is that sometimes we can get stagnant. If you got a choir that's good and everybody's on point and your choir has reached that level that you don't have anything to do but just speak and they do it, don't be surprised if God doesn't send you a change. Because this is the reason. If everything is always perfect, you become lazy. Honestly, we do. When my choir was at the point where everybody was on point, they learned their parts, they did everything right, I got lazy. I got to the point where I just threw a song at them, okay, we come to rehearsal, blah, 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 and we're done. And that is the perfect utopia for us as directors. But it's not good for our skill sets. If everything is always perfect, you won't practice. You won't try to do better because that's just how we are. I can't explain it. That's just how we are. When older members go off, we miss them and we hurt, but the new members come in, it creates an innovation in us. It creates creativity. Yes. And you'll be surprised. You try to think of a new way to teach, a new way of expression, a new protocol that you can implement that will bless other people. Because sometimes you can, with the old way, you went a certain way, but that is a different generation, a different time of people. With the new ones coming in, you have to kind of change your thinking. You don't change the principles, but you change the methods in which you reach them. That's what I'm saying. So it actually revitalizes you as a leader. Keeps you up to date, as they say. Download new information. put the updates in you so that you will be relevant in your methods, not in your principles. Your principles never change. That part of music will never change. There are some things you need to be in tune, okay? You need to come to choir rehearsal on time. You need to learn your part. You need to pay attention. Those things will never change. But the method in which we do it can always improve, right? And as you get new members in that may have a different learning curve, a different way of learning, right? Everybody's different. But it broadens your horizon and broadens you as a leader and adds depth to you so that if you become a visitor or a speaker or a panelist, you can speak from different variants or from different vantage points to when you're speaking to a group, because everybody doesn't have the same experience. That makes you more well-rounded. When you're speaking to people, when you're dealing with people, that's how some people, you see them and it's like they've been directors for years and they just have such a calm spirit. They just know how to interpret. They know how to talk to people. They don't get flustered or excited because they ran through the gauntlet that I am going through in some instances, and you're beginning to go through, or you're in the midst of it. So we're all learning, right? But we have to stay focused and understand that it's not a bad thing. You want your skills to get better. You want to become more well-rounded, more profound in your thinking, more profound in your speaking, right? And sometimes when we hear them talk, they have such a flow of words. Experience brings that to you, and the only way to get experience is through change and tribulations. That's the only way. We don't like it. I didn't write it. That's just the way life is. So let's just recap all of this. First of all, make sure we have the right mindset when we're dealing with our groups. Number 2, choir members come in for reasons, seasons. Let's not get too attached and take things personally when they leave off. And thirdly, let's look at this as a way of rejuvenation, expanding our skill set, expanding our minds, learning new concepts and things, not changing the principles of music or choral teaching, but a new innovative way to do it. What makes it interesting for you. And then when you see your choir members react and grow and become successful, actually that's a very good look for you, because that makes everyone know that you are a developer. You are a person that I can learn from. You are somebody that will train, connect, and develop others for the ministry. I hope I said something to help you on today, because actually I helped myself. I kind of put my own self in remembrance. Look, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if this video helped you out, share it with friends. And I enjoyed talking with you, and I hope you enjoyed me. Look, have a fabulous week. I love all y'all, and